like.
Oh, we'll talk about
like
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to. Thanks, JD.
Go District. Bleed, I ball. Bleed, I ball. Bleed, I ball. Bleed, ball. And I bleed, I ball. Bleed, I ball. Bleed, I ball. Cause I bleed. Hey, bleed and I ball. Defeated the odds and see him at all. JD in the pods. I needed it all. I bleeded a lie. You bleeded a lie. Not bleeded a lie. And that's what I go do. Facts, let me show you. Happen to know dudes. Draft and they don't do bad and they don't lose. Make you wanna bleed. It's the Go District boys giving you the business and no gimmicks. The best ball drafts got me feeling like it's Christmas. Then it's Christmas all of a sudden and these riches came from nothing. And I got this all from loving a district. See, I just drafted, forget it. I laughed at the critics, they mad at the digits. I clap back by listening. See, BALLiN ain't a problem if you kick it with them off. And I refresh the feed till autumn. Then I bleed, go.
What is up, Fantasyland? We are balling on a Friday night with some badass ballers. My boy Theo under me. Theo, how you doing, brother?
I'm great. I'm excited. I'm splitting the team with my man Turp tonight. This is fun. I'm very happy that I don't have to run the podcast. The other night with Chris Vaccaro and Dan, I'm sitting there like, pressing buttons. I forgot to do the outro music.
It's all good, brother. It's all good. I heard you comment on that. It's all good, man.
Busting my balls on that, but I'm happy to be drafting with Wheeler and Turp. This is awesome to get in here on a Friday night.
Yeah, man, this is gonna be fun. Kev, Wheeler, buddy, welcome back. Always a blast to have you. We know you go to bed at like 5 p.m. So we're
7 p.m. There you go. No, I'm usually in bed, chilling, watching you guys. But Friday night, nothing to do.
Shout out
Definitely
to
hang out.
Joey B. Shout out to Joey B that wants to hang with us, and we hope him and the fam are safe out there they're dealing with, I think, some floods. Yeah, crazy.
We were all talking about the 101. Be interesting to see who goes off the board here. It's been almost CMC. I'd say he's been like 75+% from what I've been seeing like the last 2 weeks. It's kind of like the consensus is moving. This one we see Jonathan Taylor go 101.
I had my JT t-shirt just in case he slides.
You jinxed yourself.
Oh no, and Jefferson gone. Oh man, that's all right. We'll go McCaffrey. that's not bad either. So
that's a nice value right now.
That's a very nice value actually.
I would have taken J Jeff at 101. Honestly,
yeah, that's who I thought I was taking at 103. I was sure I was getting another Jefferson share, but
I took a Justin Jefferson 101. Wheeler's on the clock here, but. Let's see who Wheeler takes.
Oh, wow.
I'm taking Kelsey.
Okay, I like that.
He's going to get 150 targets, right?
Nice.
I'm with you on that.
It's usually where he goes, middle of the first, tight end premium. Those joining us, FFPC, 125 buy-in, 200 grand for first, and we balling.
Turp, I'm queuing up a couple guys I know you'll like.
I feel like we're on the same wavelength, so that's a good thing. There's not going to be many questions on these picks.
Yeah, there's not going to be too many arguments, at least in the first 10 rounds, I'd imagine. We're looking for high upside guys that
pretty much any of those four I'm good with.
100%. And if you want to add one more, go for it. But they kind of stand out for this build.
No, that's pretty much perfect for me.
And these first, especially the first round, it's been pretty much the same.
Pretty standard.
Guys. Yeah, just move them around a bit here and there, but it's been pretty standard. Like Abib says, I think it was today I was listening, he was saying you could take any of the guys in the first and second round in any order. You can't really go wrong.
It's pretty flat. Like Wheeler went Kelsey at the 105, but I think, some people have him a little bit later this year in FFPC. But like if you go down to between 6 and 15, a lot of people are going to give you different rankings. So I think the top four really, really stand out. And then after that, it's a little bit questionable. Like Eckler goes somewhere, but like JD, he fell to us the other night in Pros versus Joes.
Yep. Yeah, that was a fun
Okay,
draft.
so we're OTC here, Terp. I'm good with you picking either one of those guys. If
Which
you
one
wanted
makes it
to,
back?
Which
one do you think it makes it back? 1 or 2?
I think two probably makes it back more likely than one, unless you want to pivot. We know we'll get one of those two, I'd imagine, if you want to go Andrews here, but I'm okay with both these guys.
Pick is selected.
Okay,
we selected
good.
DeAndre Swift.
So that was a good one. I'm going to load up a couple contingencies. Wheeler, where do you have DeAndre Swift right now for your running back rankings?
He's right around there. Like my rankings are different than the way I draft usually too. I think I don't have my rankings pulled up right now.
By the way, Wheeler's.
I'll take a look.
Am I allowed to say Wheeler or no?
Yeah. Say what? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Like Wheeler's rankings, you guys will find those at, what is it called? The Josh Larson.
The 33rd team.
The 33rd team. The 33rd team.
Back on the clock.
I hope it wasn't a secret, Wheeler, because I announced it on the
podcast. No.
I'm like, shout out to Wheeler of the
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah. I appreciate it. No, it's definitely not a secret.
Terp, we have our pick. We could go with our preferred running back. I put two guys if you want to change it up. But I'm okay running back start, and I think we both really, really like those guys.
1,000%. Keep it moving.
Okay, good. So Terp and I had Swift and Saquon in our queue, and we kind of just bet on Saquon being the guy we'd get at the in the second round versus taking at the 11th spot. So it was a little game theory by Terp.
Worked out perfectly.
Went well. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Barkley there. I just had to build same thing. I grabbed the running backs and then went Barkley again, and then hammered the other positions. But that's it's a good start, boys, with the back-to-back RBs. We got back-to-back receivers right before with Diggs and Adams.
So Wheeler, I know you've got your pick coming up in 3, but we'd alluded to like what you're going to have Swift ranked. I guess for me, it's like Swift to me, his upside is just extremely high compared with maybe a couple of running backs you might have right near him. Would you kind of agree with that on like a range of outcomes type look?
Absolutely. Like I have Swift and Saquon at 7 and 8. I have Saquon ahead of them at this point in time, but they're interchangeable. Like everything after the first 2 really is kind of interchangeable. Where am I? Hold on. All right. I actually have a surprise that I'm not going to mention yet ahead of them.
Well, when he goes off the board, you can talk about that player. We'd love to hear it.
I have a feeling I'm going to be the one taking him. But yeah, I have them at 7 and 8, and it's mainly just because, yes, they have the upside to be 1 overall, but to me, they both have injury concerns, like, and quite honestly, like Barkley's injury concerns shouldn't matter as much as they have in my head. And probably everybody's head, because, for months, Saquon was going in the 3rd round. Now you see him in that first, second, 1-2 turn, a couple months ago, he was mid 3rd round. So, but really in my mind, what's the difference between Saquon and Christian McCaffrey?
So I think that in terms of if we're picking running backs that could lead all running backs in receptions, they're certainly in like the top, 2 or 3. I would say right now, like Najee led all running backs in receptions this year. And I think that like, even though we're not as bullish on the situation, you can't discount like Najee. He can catch a lot of balls, but I think if I had to bet on 3 guys, it would be McCaffrey, Saquon, and then I'm betting on Swift to take a big step forward this year. And you can't discount Aaron Jones either. I think he could catch a ton of balls this year. But
yeah, that's kind of my bet right there. Aaron Jones is the one I have ahead of Swift and Barkley, just because his splits without Devontae Adams there are through the roof. Not that it'll actually even be close to the same team, but I mean, Rodgers is going to have to dump the ball off constantly.
I've bumped Saquon ahead of Aaron Jones. I mean, like where you took Aaron Jones, I think is fine, but like where I'm looking to get a little more Swift, a little more Barkley. I do worry a little bit about A.J. Dillon. Aaron Jones has been so good at finding a way to score rushing touchdowns too. I think he's great. I think he's absolutely a second rounder. When it comes to the upside, slightly capped for me just because of the presence of Dillon, where Swift and Barkley, have Breida and Williams behind them. I think that just kind of makes him a little more appealing. But I know you're right with the splits. If that's sustainable, Jones is going to be the league winner.
Even if it's not quite as sustainable as it is, it's still, he does better. He's going to be a targeted receiver like that.
JD's coming up. Who are you looking at here, JD?
I gotta go. I just tweeted to you today. I needed a bit more of this guy, so I'm going to take my boy Pittman as my wide receiver too. After
I did see that tweet, wasn't really too happy about it coming into tonight.
Well, we weren't going to get him at the 311 anyway.
No shot.
I mean, he's just.
I was hoping Pitts. He was two spots away from falling to me there, but
Kamara was the other guy I actually have.
Why is he not going higher? People are still.
I now have him ranked. Yeah, they pushed the court date back 60 days. So, like, in a best ball, yeah, you're still talking, all right, maybe he gets suspended towards the end of the season. But, oh, shit, so I'm up.
I will say, Terp, the one thing with Kamara, I'm with you, where I think right now it looks like he's going to play at the beginning of the season. I will say that the negative with Kamara, if you want to be super pessimistic, is if something happens during the season. We hear about this tape, something where you're 10 games in and all of a sudden you're having to deal with the legal issue. That could happen. I'm not betting on it. Well, it wouldn't, and I'm willing to take Kamara at like the 2-3 turn, but I don't think I'm willing to push him up higher than that.
No suspension. Where does Kamara go?
I think if there's no suspension, I think he's away he'll be somewhere in the right around the Debo, Aaron Jones level right there. I think Kamara will be right behind. Jones. Yeah, like somewhere in that range. I think he'd be ahead of the Javonte, Fournette, ETN trio right away.
Yeah.
And I think all it would take is a couple of positive things, and I think he could go up even higher. I mean, we talk about guys, running backs who can catch the football. I mean, he's a given to catch the football. Turp, we need to fill up this queue a little bit because I have a feeling he's going to be gone.
I agree.
Alvin Kamara, as far as like my redraft rankings, I already have him above Swift, Barkley, and Aaron Jones. But with best ball, I'm afraid Kamara could miss games still towards the end when it's actually most important.
That's his big worry right now.
That would be a killer. So, I get it, but I think, that's always got to be in the back of your mind.
Right.
If you have 25 teams this year, you absolutely want to be drafting Alvin Kamara a lot right now. But if you're somebody who's playing in just a few home leagues, even, that's something you should keep in the back of your mind. Okay, Terp, we're in the hole here. Okay, so there goes one of them. I will say.
Does one make it back?
I think that if you want to take two, I think it's now the time to take two. I'm not pot committed to him.
I'm good with two too. I don't have that many shares of him.
Okay, so I think this is the time to take two and kind of push him up a little bit. I think this is a good pick.
Austin Ehlers here bringing up the week 13 to 17 schedule. Do you guys agree with them? Is that something you guys pay attention to early in the drafts? Or are you looking at that more later when you're looking at different stacks and correlations between your rosters?
I look at it for if I'm drafting in a FFPC league, I'll look at it for the buys to make sure I'm not stuck holding a late buy. But in terms of the strength of schedule for weeks 13 to 17. Not so much. I've tried to look at week 17 correlation when I'm doing best ball and a little bit for FFPC, but not really. And then shout out to Todd. Todd has got me thinking about week 16 a lot. So I'm starting to look at week 16 and 17, but not scheduled, more just correlation and whatnot.
Definitely.
Yeah, same. I might take it as a tiebreaker, but it's nothing that I'm going to really plan around.
So Terp, we're one away here, and okay, so we could take one here, which makes a lot of sense. But I will say I'll just say structurally two might make sense, especially with the best ball setting, because the weeks he misses are not going to be murderer's row. But I'm okay taking one. I think you're really high on him, and I have a lot of him as well. So do you want to go that way?
The problem is I have a lot of him, but I don't have a lot of two.
Okay, so I'm with you. I don't have a lot of two either. So why don't we go with two this time, and it helps with our structure.
Yeah,
okay?
The structure makes sense.
So
I feel like
Kittle,
it's a good
I like
value
him
there.
Yeah, Kittle, I think, is like, we took him in the pros versus Joes. The JD and I drafted with Dan Williamson, and it was like, I don't have a lot of him either, but I feel like in best ball, even if he doesn't play the full schedule, the boom weeks matter more, and I think we're going to be comfortable enough taking our tight end 2 and maybe tight end 3 that we can kind of make up for it if Kittle has a couple of missed weeks this year. So I'm okay with it. And we were looking at, he's still on the board now. I don't know if he'll make it to Wheeler. We'll see after Wheeler picks. We can talk about the guy we passed on.
You can talk about him now.
No. We don't want to. No table talk. No table talk, Wheeler.
Oh no, that's quite all right. It's fine.
You guys are pros, man. You guys could show your cards while you're playing.
No, I'm curious to see which way Wheeler goes, because 407 is kind of a weird little spot. There's a couple of guys I could see him taking.
There's actually quite a few guys here I'm considering.
You started Kelsey in the first, Aaron Jones in the second, and then DJ Moore with a nice little balanced start. Which way are you going to go here?
Ooh.
There's one easy one. Just very easy.
Like, I'm just loading up a couple of, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I see three guys. I see three guys I like. And
yeah,
it all depends.
A very easy one here.
I think there's just a massive tier break after this one at his position. Like, have we forgotten about Zeke?
Ugh.
No,
that wasn't the one.
No, I'm not. No, it was Sutton. Sutton was the one that Turpin was.
Yeah, he was next in the queue. Like, I'm just thinking after Zeke, we're talking about Dobbins, Montgomery. No, massive tier break. I guess, yeah, not a lot of people are high on Zeke, but it's 4th round. I mean, yes, Sutton and Marquise Brown, the next two to go, were the other two guys I was eyeing up. Yeah, I just feel as though wide receiver is pretty deep, and I might be able to make up for missing out on them in the next few rounds.
Yeah, for me, it's like once Breece Hall goes, I've been like kind of pumping into the brakes a little bit. I think like Zeke Akers and him are all kind of close to one another. But I like Breece Hall when I'm able to get him in this range. But Sutton I love. Like Turp and I had him maybe even take it to 311. We've asked every single guest on the GOAT District, and we'll get your guys' opinion on this when we're done with the draft. But if we, besides Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Cooper Kupp, which wide receiver is the wide receiver 1 this year if you had to pick one? And like
my third round pick.
Glenn Lowy and Nelson Sousa, or excuse me, it was Glenn Lowy and Chris Vaccaro, two of like the sharpest dudes I know. They both went with Sutton as like the one they could see just doing it, and I was already on him, but I think you've just kind of
surprised he hasn't moved up more with the Tim Patrick injury.
I think there's a lot of very sharp people on Judy as well, and I think that I think it kind of makes each of them potentially a little discounted, but one of them will absolutely crush ADP, and I think that Sutton profiles more as like the downfield alpha with elite touchdown upside. It's just like a better bet. Like Judy, we want more things from, like we think it could happen, but to me, it's like if one wide receiver on Denver just goes nuclear this year, it's Sutton. Although I'm not afraid to take Judy in the 5th round. Like Judy, I'll take a bet on that as well.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like, JD's coming up.
I have so much Sutton. I think that is probably why I tend to pivot off of him now, and I expect him to drive up higher. Him and Marquise Brown are like my late third pick. After DJ Moore, it's Sutton or Brown. Like
Oh,
that's what I'm looking at.
got sniped again. My second most owned receiver gone, Bateman.
JD, that one hurts. That would
that one really
nice
hurt.
Wide receiver 4 for you.
That one really
Great spot.
hurt.
Where are you at here, JD? There's a couple interesting names.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Montgomery's been sitting there. I wanted to hammer receiver still though. Hawkinson's there. I don't like taking after those top guys are gone. Not big on taking tight ends here. Gibson's a guy that's interesting. I find he's kind of falling at a good value. What are we in the 5th round? Brandon Cooks is not a bad. Actually, my buys here.
JD using the full clock. Full clock.
Yeah, I'm going full clock here. You guys can wait.
So honestly, Theo, I was waiting. I was excited to answer your question at the end about the receiver you think will go. That could be wide receiver 1. My guy is DJ Moore. Like I listen to every show and I always comment. DJ Moore has been my guy. But yeah, Sutton's definitely a contender. What's that?
You must like Baker then.
I think Moore is quarterback proof, but yes, I think Baker can get him the ball in the end zone.
It helps him. Doesn't hurt him.
Like all he's missing is the end zone targets. Like
it definitely helps him. It definitely helps him. I think DJ Moore was 28% target share, and I think he was top 4 in wide receiver in like air yards share. And I think that he's just such a good player. You just need him to have 8 touchdowns, which is so doable. Because he keeps getting these low touchdown totals. But with that target share, those air yards, and his talent, and a little bit more consistent. That Casey connection just sniped us there, Terp. But I think I love that. I love that call, Wheeler. I could easily see him being like a top 5, top 6 wide receiver. And if things break your way and you're in that level, who knows how high you can get up.
Yeah, I wanted Cooks or Metcalf, and they went right before me. Always happens.
That guy swiped both of us, Allen and us.
Yeah, that was an ugly swipe.
Yeah, didn't see that one coming.
This is a tricky range coming up for us, Turf. We gotta make a good call. This is kind of like it's very flat. I don't mind pushing a guy up structurally either.
I think I know who you're talking about. Where is he?
The first 4 rounds, you can kind of you always have one of those stud tight ends as a backup plan, but then when you get into these rounds, it's so flat, and in a lot of the positions, unless you're going QB early, it's pretty flat.
In most
I don't love Schultz there. I'm curious, Wheeler, kind of where you're at on Schultz. Terp, I'm kind of I don't mind going with number 1 here, but I think if we want to consider number 4,
always makes for the best radio when ones and twos are getting thrown.
Well, we can talk about on the clock here. I just don't know if number team after us is listed.
No, that's fine. Keep going the way you're going because I get it. You're on the end. For those listening, you guys are in the 11 spot. So
I'm okay. I'm okay going with number 1 here if you're feeling it, Terp. Or we could roll the dice and take number 4.
I have no 4.
Let's take 4 and let's get a little bit of him here, because I don't think we want to force running back.
No, because it's going to start getting ugly.
Yeah, and also the next couple guys are kind of the next couple guys have like a little bit more kind of red flags or competition. Dylan, I think, is like a clear role. Despite Jones, I think he's just got a clear role in that offense. They need Dylan to be a thing this year. And they need Jones to be a thing. They need both those guys to be really good.
Plus, he's your RB3. That's pretty solid as an RB3. It's not like you're depending on him as your 1 or 2.
Okay, so Cooper goes. We might be getting our guy here, Terp. Let's.
Do you have any interest in 4? Or a different build with 3?
No, I think we well, if we went with 3. It wouldn't be the worst thing, because then we could just be done with the position essentially for a long time. I'm okay with 1 or 3 here.
I say we stay with 1.
Yeah, let's stay with 1. So let's take Darnell Mooney. I'll draft him.
You bastards. Very nice.
And we were considering Dallas Goedert there, just because I think like Goddard to me, I would prefer taking Goddard at the 602 than I would Dalton Schultz at the 501 any day of the week.
100%.
Even than TJ Hawk for me at this point. Why not? A round later.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. Hawk to me has he's like an elite talent. He was a top 10 draft pick. Like, I think he's very, very good. Like, I don't think Dalton Schultz is bad, but I think to take a guy that we got off the waiver wire last year, even in FFPC, he was going off the waiver wire. To take him and take him at the 501, the guy had 8 touchdowns last year. So I get that he might gain some targets
with Gallup.
But he also came off waiver wire because he was coming off a big injury and Jarwin.
Well, no, it was Schultz. I feel like Schultz was off the waiver wire because of Jarwin.
We like Jarwin. Back injuries, didn't they?
We like Jarwin more.
Schultz was like tight end 13.
Jarwin was the guy. Then he got hurt, and then Schultz came in.
Yeah, but everybody everybody thought Schultz was just a blocking tight end. Like that was his rap, and that might be right. Like, he just got peppered with targets because he was the only tight end there, and it seems like Dak or that offense keys on the tight end. Like, I don't think Schultz is any, he's not a tremendous athlete. He doesn't have great pedigree. Like, he just happened to be right place, right time. And he's still in the right place, right time. He's probably still going to get the same amount of targets, but isn't he holding in too? Like, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think they'll work that out. I'm fairly confident. But yeah, like you said, even if he gets more targets, the touchdowns could go down. I think Kelsey led the league last year with 10 receiving touchdowns. Schultz was at 8, and a couple guys had 9. So it's like 8 is a lot for a tight end. So I think that's the number that to me is not necessarily sustainable. So even if he becomes a 115 target guy, like Terp, like you're a Philly guy, Dallas Goedert has been heavily targeted to start camp. Like there's people tracking camp targets for the first team. Goddard it's going to be a very easy target tree to predict in Philly, in my opinion. And like Goddard's a beast. Like there's 2 wide receivers out there. Like he's a monster. Like Goddard, give me a bet on Dallas Goedert more touchdowns than Dalton Schultz this year with some kind of odds, I'd be all over that.
Yeah,
I'm in.
I agree.
Yeah, I've been stacking Goddard with his quarterback like crazy. I don't want to table talk. You know what I'm saying? But yes, I have Goddard above, definitely above Hawkinson. I think I have him above Schultz too. I'll double check on that. But if you look at his game log after Ertz left and towards the end of the season, Hurts was definitely targeting Goddard quite often. So I'm expecting good things from him.
He had a monster game it was one of the playoff weeks last year where he just went nuts. And in FFPC, he put up a ridiculous score and got a lot of teams to the championship week. So I think that, Goddard's got it. He's got the talent. And the offense, it's kind of like the pie could be larger type argument. Philly offense could go nuclear, and I think this could be Goddard's year. And
it all comes down to Hurts.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right on that, Turf.
But
you got to feel pretty good about it, right?
What'd you say?
You got to feel pretty good about it right now. I mean, they put so much around him, and the offensive line
talent's
is so
there.
good.
It's just a question of can he make the throws, and that's the question. I mean, with AJ Brown, Smith. I mean, they have the 3, 4, 5 guys aren't terrible either. And then with Goddard, the best offensive line in football, Gainwell and Sanders. I mean, they're the best offense in that division.
And you gotta like Sirianni. I feel like he's a guy that kind of seems like last year he became like towards the end of the year they ran the ball so much so they could make the playoffs. Like he just kind of gets it. He plays to his personnel
because they didn't have anybody. They had Devonta Smith and nobody else, and Goddard obviously. But now you have AJ Brown. You didn't pay him all that money for him to get 4 or 5 targets a game. He's going to get peppered.
No doubt about that. Where have you been taking him, Terp?
Middle of the third. I mean, I'll push him up a little bit in certain spots. I mean, I think that's a fair spot for him. I mean, I don't think he gets in the second round. He should if you believe in Hurts. I mean, why not AJ Brown over Tyreek Hill or T. Higgins? I don't think it's crazy.
I don't think it's
will say-
crazy either. In fact, he has that like best friend narrative with Hurts.
He does. He has that Cooper Cup narrative of last year.
Yeah.
With Stafford, it's the question of can Hurts make the throws?
So my take is if for tournament settings, like the FFPC Bestball or Underdog or some of these tournament type deals, I would be interested in building AJ Brown at that 2-3 turn. Like if I had a number of ones just to get that combination, because I think that like the bullish argument is AJ Brown comes in and absolutely crushes it. Mm-hmm. I agree with you, Terp. He's priced appropriately at like that 303 to like call it 307 range, but there's a chance he just is like the league winner, and I'd want a chance to have like potentially the RB1 with a top 3 wide receiver if it all falls right for AJ Brown.
I agree.
Yeah, AJ's gonna beast out, man. People that are fading him are gonna get burnt.
Wheeler, OTC here. Who are you taking?
I'm looking at wide receiver for the most part. I'm having a tough choice here. In fact, yeah, I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit Drake London. How have reports been about him in camp though?
Excellent. Drake London's been getting It looks great, and
don't worry, Wheeler. I saw a couple highlights on Twitter. He's good, man. He's good.
Like I hadn't heard anything, and to me, no news is actually kind of pretty good news. So, but if he's getting good reports, woohoo!
We've got a nice queue coming up here, Terp. We might get 2 of these guys.
I mean, 1, 2, and 3, I'd be doing backflips. 1, obviously, but then you know where we both stand on 3.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's like honestly, I like all 4 wide receivers you have queued up, and yeah, we're definitely looking good here.
See a couple bully tight end builds going on in the 1 spot and the 8 spot. You got Schultz and Ertz, and then TJ Hawk and Goddard back to back in the 8 spot. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm not a fan of that just because I like going a 3rd tight end, so I don't want to waste that use that trying to kind of draft capital on that position. I feel like if I get 1 premium tight end, I can scoop up 2 guys late that are being underdrafted.
Unbelievable, Terp. Look at this guy, Terp.
And that's
just a scumbag move.
Getting swiped. Snippered.
Yeah.
Getting snippered.
Yeah, we sure are. That's fine. We'll have to just make up for it by drafting well.
I really wanted that Lance. I really wanted Lance too.
Me too. That would.
I feel like I always miss him. Nicely. I feel like I always miss him.
I was
a couple shares of him in this, but not as many as I want.
I was looking at Lance this round, but I was really, after I picked Juju, I was hoping Patrick Mahomes would slide to the 6 because I've seen Mahomes going after Lamar in a bunch of drafts. I don't know.
It's so easy to stack with too.
Right. But yeah, I kind of figured London rookie could explode second half. Hope for the best. I do like Lance though too. I was eyeing him up. In a tournament like this, Lance.
So we're OTC.
I'm good with 1, and hopefully 2 comes back. Or if you want 2, we'll get 1 come back. Either
no,
way.
I like 1 a lot. I think 1 works really well with our build.
Okay.
Let's take him.
It gives us an option later too.
Yeah. I put in 4 just because if he slides, it's pretty good value.
It will be really hard for me not to take 2.
Yeah,
I'm
with
not
you.
1. I mean,
yeah, it's probably the correct move.
We were talking about Tony earlier, weren't we?
Yeah, I love Tony. Okay, so I think we take Treylon Burks here, Terp.
Easy.
Okay, cool. We got Treylon. So we've kind of made up for it at wide receiver after only taking 1 wide receiver.
I'm glad we took Dillon there. It makes it look a lot better now.
Getting Tony and Burks is like that's really good right there, I think. We wanted Trey Lance, obviously. So we were hoping Justin Herbert fell to us at the 5'11", didn't happen. We were hoping Trey Lance went at the 7-11. Didn't happen. So there's not really any correlation, but at the end of the day, we feel like we have 4 wide receivers we like.
3 good running backs, obviously.
Wheeler, how you feeling about your team?
I hate being in the middle like this too. I find my teams where I'm 6 and 7, I have a miserable time deciding, or I have been getting the last guy of a tier, which I generally like to get, but it's just not, I don't feel like it's falling right for me. And I don't see any stacking options really so far. So I'm sitting here right now wishing I took Sutton over Elliott, because depending on what the guy in front of me does, it would have been the perfect opportunity to stack Sutton.
He was staring you in the face, but it's all right, man.
But I'm gonna take Russ anyway, because I just think Russ is gonna.
There's nothing wrong with naked Russ, man. He's got a lot of weapons, a lot of targets, right? A lot of people think he's spread around a bit too much. So
he's not naked yet either.
He's not naked yet, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you're grabbing him at this point, you don't have to use.
You still have options with him later.
Right. Yep.
Spoiler alert: Wheeler's going to take KJ Hamler and Albert O.
Definitely Hamler, because Hamler's still cheap. He hasn't been shooting up yet.
Not yet.
A little bit. He's been creeping.
One preseason catch.
But he's probably been creeping because I'm the one drafting him too early. So cross my fingers there.
I'm doing something a little different this time. I'm gonna go a little thin at running back and I love grabbing Stevenson right now. I got him in the 8th here. I got my Burrow T. Higgins stack. I've got that stack in a lot of builds. I love getting those two. So I've got my 4 running backs, my 3 receivers, and T. Higgins, Pittman, and McLaurin.
Yeah, I like the Stevenson pick, especially at the end of the 8th round. I think that there's a lot of pass where he could really return value there.
Yeah, I definitely like him. Yeah, I was surprised by both of you guys going kind of heavy running back. It kind of when you guys did it down at 11, it kind of spurred me to, all right, let me grab another running back. I've always been kind of too heavy on the running backs, and I'm just training myself to get more wide receivers early.
I've been the same way.
I've been watching Shelley draft, so
I'm
trying to mimic him a little bit, but
usually early in the off season, I'm a lot more willing to go 0 RB. I still love the 0 RB build, but I'm more willing to do these builds where I'm thinner at RB, but I'm getting 4 or 5 what I think could be studs, and then I just hammer other positions, go deep at receiver. That kind of build as well. I'm fine doing that.
I've had many different builds this year. I've done 0. It's turned out pretty well. I've done builds like tonight. But I think that the 11 and the 12 spot, I think a lot of times you see people go wide receiver there. I think to get these 2 running backs, it kind of takes the pressure off of us to play catch up at running back. And also when Diggs goes, I feel like the Adams, Lambs, CeeDee Lamb and Devontae Adams just, to me, are not quite the range of possibilities for Stephon Diggs. So for us to push one of them up and take them 11, I wouldn't have necessarily liked the build as well as taking 2 shots at running backs that could be top 5 running backs. But I think it's really more the kind of getting running back out of the way with where you're not forced to make up for it by taking multiple running backs, where it gives Turp and I more flexibility, where maybe we could take an extra tight end. We could do a 3 quarterback build now. We could just completely paint it yellow. I mean, there's a lot of different things we can do when we're not trying to chase the, those 9 through 11 round running backs that, a lot of these teams are going to have to take right now.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
9th round, it's time.
It's nice. It's nice getting these rookie receivers in this zone there. I like how you guys took Treylon Burks to add to your, and then you got London, Wheeler. I was considering him there when I took Burrow, but I just had to close the stack there.
Yeah, I think you talking about Russell Gage.
No, I was looking at your London, but I like Gage there too. I was looking at Gage when I took Komet there. What do you guys feel about is this considered, because he was going, how high was he going, Theo Gage, at one point?
7-ish?
6-ish?
Yeah, like he was going like that 5-6 turnish area.
Is this justified? Are these 4 rounds justified, you guys think?
Well, in best ball, you can like, I mean, I like Gage even more in best ball. Like here in the 9th round where Wheeler got him, I mean, he's gonna have some very, very usable weeks. With Brady in that offense. They still paid him a lot, and that's a guy that they targeted. And I know Godwin's at practice today, but at the end of the day, like Evans took a little knock, Godwin's taking a knock. Maybe that's a wide receiver core where guys just missed some games, and Russell Gage is going to have opportunities. So it's kind of like the correction is there, but like when you get him in the 9th round, especially in best ball, you can deal with it.
I feel like Russell Gage has his role and everybody else is kind of gonna fill around it. I know it doesn't make sense seeing that Godwin and Evans have been there. Evans has his role. He's the X.
We're OTC here. So this is a flat range for me.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think we need to push up. Like if you want to square it up, it just seems just a slightly early for us to take him there. But it guarantees we get him. Yeah.
I don't think we take him here. I think if anything, we took him next.
Okay, so I like Freiermuth. I like going wide receiver.
Where's your stance on 2?
I think 2's fine. If you're good with 2, I think 2's a good one here. Let's take him. That's fine. So wide receiver, let's take Rondell Moore. Good?
Yep, we're in.
Okay, cool.
Now coming back, I'm with you on 3.
Yeah, I think that's the move.
I mean, who knows what team 8 is doing right now?
So it's either that or we take
Do we think one can come back?
I don't think one comes back.
We have options though. We
definitely
we'll probably go to 3 build anyway. The 3 QB build anyway, probably.
Yeah. I just think that there's a chance you're going to like your build more if you take him here and push him up.
I agree.
It's not that much of a reach either.
No,
so
I think there's plenty of other tight ends that fit what we're trying to do.
Okay, so let's take him here and get a little bit of correlation.
How do you guys feel about the 8 spot? The chat's going having a little convo about the back-to-back quarterbacks from 7 to 9.
Had to be a mistake.
Someone's saying that he's covering his bye weeks because Lance and Prescott have the same bye week, so he grabbed another one. But why would you grab one so soon? Would be my question.
I doubt that he meant. I mean, I don't really like it. I will say that if you want to go like a uniqueness, I've heard Mark Garcia, aka Hilo, talk about this a little bit, where potentially some of these contests are won by a 3 QB build. Again, I don't mind a 3 QB build, but I don't like using 3 of the top 10. My 3 of my top 10 round selections to take QB. So I don't know. It's not what I would have done.
The 3 QB builds he's talking about winning though are 1 early and 2 super late. Like, and now he's got a 4th, so they got to be away from the computer or something.
Yeah,
it's not auto draft.
Yeah, this is
somebody's kid got a hold of his phone or something.
Something's going on.
Guy likes QBs.
Good thing we took who we did because
it
could get real dark if we didn't.
Right.
So Turp and I took Justin Fields for anybody not watching the feed and just listening to it. So we now have a little Fields, Darnell Mooney correlation.
With Swift,
we took Fields, and we took Fields as good call with the Detroit Chicago game and the correlation. But Fields at QB 15 it's fine. I think it's a good space for him, and I think we pushed him up only a couple spots from ADP. Damian Pierce, I saw went right after us. Damian Pierce is getting some really really good buzz today out of camp. It sounds like he's taking all the snaps with the first team, and some high praise from Pep Hamilton about him.
The questions still remain with him.
Oh yeah, I mean he's no lock, but in terms of like 10th round guys, he's definitely interesting because he
definitely has some upside in that offense.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I got decisions here.
Big time, Wheeler.
How much time I got? 20. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna reach a little bit just to get my stack. I probably shouldn't, seeing that I have Kelsey, but the next, I don't know, like 9 receivers I have in the same tier. So like I'm gonna get one of them coming back. And the next running back I like, his ADP has been low. I probably should have gone with the running back I like. But we'll see.
Alberto, I love me Alberto. I just pretty sure I just did a build with Alberto and Kelsey as well. But
and Wheeler gets the correlation with Russell Wilson and Alberto, which is that's nice there.
Yeah, I don't condone or advocate, I should say, like reaching to get the stack. I was just kind of between tier breaks, and it felt right.
I don't really think it's a reach at all.
No, I agree with Turp. It's like there's like a group of like 5 tight ends that are all kind of close to one another with high upside, and Alberto is one of them. So you could, there's nothing wrong with that pick, especially in best ball.
I think I could have waited a round or two maybe, and I already have Kelsey. So it is what it is. Whatever. And I'm gonna get a wide receiver I like coming back, I think. So I'm not gonna stress about it at all. Although I might still get that running back coming back. Lots of options at this point, and this is where the drafts I feel like really start to diversify. And this is where you got to get your guys, and you got to get the right guys. This is, I think, the middle of the draft is really where drafts are won and lost. The dart throws, sure, they're fun, and they can, skyrocket your team, but it's these middle rounds that really make the difference. So
I'm liking, I got to stay away from week 14s, man. I got so many week 14 buys. I'll go Tolbert here in Dallas. I'm liking what we're seeing there. I was going to go Dotson because I've got McLaurin and Gibson, but I don't need too much Washington. The main.
Well, we had Tolbert all queued up and ready to go, JD. So,
yeah, I love Tolbert, man. I got so much Tolbert.
The opportunities there.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
We took him in the pros versus Joes as well.
That's right.
I did say you guys would win pros versus Joes.
Nice.
You're the favorite in the clubhouse. That was a very well drafted team.
That was a really fun team to draft. We have the Treylon Burks. We have Saquon.
Yeah, we had a lot of
Burks, and we have Tony. Yeah. And not Rondell Moore. That was Pat Kerrane, but we had him. We almost took him as well.
Oh, that guy took Cousins too. What is this guy doing?
He's probably going to take another one here.
Wow.
The worst part about it is his team through 6 rounds is
burning the money.
Damn it. Rashad White. That's the guy I was eyeing up.
So were we.
We have him all queued up.
I was deciding between White and Alberto. I probably should have let Alberto just sink, but now I'm stuck. Now I'm really tossing it up in the air. you all got to vamp because I have no idea where I'm going at this point.
Only 15 seconds, Wheeler.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Ah,
Damn it. I don't want to do that. Galladay. Let's see.
That sounds like some pain in that one.
That was
Yeah,
a
it's a little bit.
That was some pain.
Galladay pain.
painful one. That's a painful one.
But 11th round, you know, I'm not thrilled about it at all, but it's where he's going. You never know. You never know. I just didn't. Dotson, I like, but it's Washington. I just don't see. And then there's a couple other ways I could have gone. Oh, well.
All right, Terp, we're
He's
sitting pretty here. Yeah, we're looking pretty good here, Terp. I got a couple guys here that I think
Yeah,
we
I'm
both.
with off. I'm the highest on 3, but I'm good with any of them.
So 3 will be there when we pick at the 12:02.
I agree.
100%.
Do you think
I
2's
think-
two
Well,
or 1?
2. I could go either way. I think that I think there's a better chance that 2 is OTC when we're there at the 12:02. So I think
I
we should
agree.
take 1. Okay, so we're going to take Jahan Dotson and Wheeler. I actually do like Jahan Dotson for best ball a lot because I do think he's going to have some spike weeks. He's getting a ton of buzz in camp. Curtis Samuel's already missed a decent amount of camp days already.
I agree.
And they're limiting Curtis Samuel's snaps. Like I don't know, and they said it's not related to last year's injuries. So it's like a lot of mystery with him. And then Logan Thomas is not going to start the year. I'm pretty confident in that. Like I think Logan Thomas might miss a considerable amount of the beginning of the season. Like Dotson, like they're talking up, and like again, he might be a guy whose weekly usage is hard to predict. But I think like he could be the number 2 most targeted guy on Washington. McLaurin's going to get a big target share, really, really big this year. But I think Dotson, like if you don't have to predict the weeks to start him, he's a good one to take.
He's perfect.
Yeah, I probably should have taken him.
Now, Terp, I think 2, like we both really, really like him. But I don't.
There's a drop
Is there
off
a
after
chance
1.
he comes back? Yeah, like
I think there's a
1
chance he
makes a lot
comes
of
back.
sense.
1 has no chance to come back.
Yeah, and also, do we consider QB just because 2 more could go with this?
Did he
I
do
guess
it
he
again?
took Tyler Algier. He kind of pumped the brakes a little bit.
Maybe he's back, and I don't
Yeah,
think
I
we
mean-
can pass on 1 if he makes it.
Yeah, 1's got to be the pick, and it also gives us a little bit of correlation. So let's take 1.
Yeah.
So we're taking Darrell Henderson here, and Sean McVay said that he views it as having 2 starting running backs. I think Henderson's going to be a big part of the weekly plan. I mean, obviously, I think Akers when he's there is going to get the lion's share, but
I like Henderson a lot.
any week that Akers misses, Henderson's a top 15 play running back.
Catch the ball, great offense. The value in the 12th round with that. I just took him in one of the super flex best ball teams in this range, and he's.
I've been drafting him a ton lately.
Yeah.
And Turk, we have the correlation with him and Mike Williams too.
Correct. Yep.
So that's kind of nice.
True. The Battle of LA.
Yeah, Henderson's a good pick there.
Little RB run here.
It looks like Team 8 is off the. It looks like they're off the auto pick. Which
Ah.
is good for it.
My
It's really good for us.
Matt Ryan stack.
Yeah, we will survive.
Yes.
I'm gonna go Madison.
Yeah. I just took him in a drafters. Nice.
And Kine being injured, like to me makes like Madison was always a good pick, but you'd had to be curious about a coaching staff, maybe trying to get like the electric, extremely fast Kine, a couple of touches here and there. I think like it just makes everything a little more clear with Madison. So he's there. He's the upside, one of the upside cuffs who doesn't offer you much weekly unless Cook misses. That's the difference between him and like Darrell for me is,
Absolutely.
Madison. Yeah. And Madison, like the weeks, like if both of them had Akers and Cook out, you'd probably have Madison as the better weekly play. But Henderson, like, will get those sneaky double-digit weeks that can just help us in best ball.
And there's still so many questions with Akers. I mean,
100%.
Henderson could be the guy for all anybody knows.
It's hard to take Akers where he's going for me. I can see
receivers,
it. Yeah, it's just hard.
Yeah, I definitely like Henderson over Madison. Madison's one of those handcuffs. Cook goes down, I'm set. But
JD, can you move the screen up so we can or scroll up a little bit?
Yeah, sorry, man.
Maybe to the. Oh, no worries. Just to the 5th round. I'm just trying to see who's. Okay, cool. That's perfect, JD. All right, so we're at. Little trash talk in the chat. Someone said Kyle Orton didn't show up for the draft, just like he didn't show up for the Super Bowl.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah, I need some of these other teams.
Sorry, Wheeler.
No, I like to look at the other teams as they're building. I'm trying to swivel between my queue and the draft board.
Kyle Orton, back to back, double tapping. Goes Julio. Khalil, love Khalil. That's why I have Montgomery here, because I have so much Khalil. It's like I'm offsetting with.
What was David Montgomery doing on special teams?
I don't know.
It's very odd. It's very,
for somebody
odd.
who has no David Montgomery at all.
They just want to give him the ball. They just want to give him the ball.
I think that's just a camp thing. Like, let's rotate. Let's get everybody some reps at everything, just in case
it also goes back to why did Josh Jacobs play last night?
I'm going with a little Jacksonville stack back to back. Lawrence Ingram.
The Josh Jacobs one is much more troublesome than the.
The
nobody
played.
One. Yeah, it's insane. Like they had him up there for 2 series. It's very odd. It's very, very odd. And I like Zamir White, and I think the coaching staff is going to use a bunch of running backs. But why do they want to see Josh Jacobs in those first 2 series? It's very, very weird. Yep.
Could be my favorite RB5, Zamir White.
I have a ton of them.
Yeah. Wheeler on the clock.
We were talking about something earlier, but I might want to go in a different direction. I like your stack, the Lawrence Ingram stack. I've been using that quite often.
With Marvin Jones.
I'm going to do something silly here.
I'm hoping you didn't do that.
I'm going to stack Galladay.
There you go, Wheeler.
Nice.
I'm glad. I wish we never had that conversation.
If we didn't have that conversation, I may not have done that.
Oh, great. Thanks.
Sorry about your luck.
Yeah. He was definitely coming off the board here soon.
100%.
There's another guy out there I usually get, but you know.
You guys hear anything about Drake getting traded?
Who? What?
Kenyon Drake.
Well, I think that there's been speculation that there could be a move in Las Vegas. I didn't see anything that's like concrete, but I think that that's a possibility.
It's interesting.
I don't see running backs getting traded. Who's trading for a running back? Like,
especially Kenyon Drake.
There's not many teams. I mean, there are big people ahead of Kenyon Drake.
He could also
got to be leading the pack.
He could also. I mean, Kenyon Drake renegotiated his contract this year, so I don't see him getting cut.
Yeah.
I would imagine he's there, but I mean, you could see Vegas moving a running back. I mean, they do have like 4 guys right now.
I could see them moving Jacobs.
Yeah.
You could see that.
I mean, you might actually get something for Jacobs.
Turp and I are OTC. Turp, it's clear for me. Number 1 is a smash here.
Yep. Sign me up.
Okay, cool. So we had him in our queue.
I always expect someone in my queue to disappear when Theo says that.
Well, I mean, we had him considered where we took Darrell Henderson. I think he's the clear cut number two target for Houston. and he's 6'4", 225.
With the Mechie unfortunate news, I mean, he's
awful news for that kid.
Solidified.
Terrible, awful news for sure. But Nico's just the guy. So, I don't think we need to. I will say number 1 would give us more correlation for week 17. And in a nutshell, I like him more than number 2, Terp. I think I know why you have 2 in there, which kind of makes a little sense now. But
can we wait on 2?
We could get 2. I think if we wait, I think he'll still be there. I don't think 1 will be there.
I'm good with 1.
Let's take 1. It's boring, but it makes sense.
No, I like Higbee, man. I don't in tight end preems. I think he's a value right now.
Yeah, he's fine, and it gives us a little more exposure to this Battle of LA game where it's just going to be Darrell Henderson and Higbee and Mike Williams going.
You guys might just have to go to LA for that game.
Maybe.
No doubt about it. If we're in the final 12, we're there.
You don't got to give me an excuse to go to LA.
100%. Battle of LA.
Yeah, that's the type. Like, Njoku is the guy that I think is going to surprise this year. Like,
he's right there with Higbee. I think
I've been taking Njoku in non-tight end premium in the 14th, 13th, 12th round. Like, since the decision, I think if Watson comes back, I think Njoku explodes. But even if he doesn't, what's his name? The backup quarterback, the guy that might start, he peppers the tight end. Why can't I think of Cleveland's quarterback right now?
Jacoby Brissett.
Brissett.
He relies on the tight end quite a bit too. So even if Watson isn't back, or if he ends up suspended for the year or what have you, I have a feeling Njoku's going to really emerge this year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is a guy Muzio likes.
I know you're right.
Yeah, I had him queued up. That's a good one.
Yeah, I like him too.
Literally just talked about it.
We were just DMing each other about potential picks coming up, and DJ Shark was one of them.
KJ Osborne went right before me. He was the next in my queue, and I've heard Muzio talking about Chark and all the reasons why. I mean, and with Williams, apparently Jameson Williams going to be out for a few weeks, or may not come back for the first few weeks, and he's definitely missing reps in camp. DJ Chark should be able to, at least the first few weeks.
100%.
I was hoping KJ would fall to me there. I'll go Pickens. I think he might have a good opportunity in Pittsburgh.
He's having a great camp so far.
Shout out to our boy Austin Martin, who's I think watching this right now, who's got more George Pickens than literally anybody
in the world
on earth right now.
He's the guy that got me on George Pickens.
Running very, very pure with the early camp news.
Nice.
Awesome.
That makes me feel good, man. Austin's a great player.
I mean, Pickens got the dog in him.
He does.
Totally does.
100%. 100%.
On the dog scale,
going higher.
On the dog scale, Pickens is the Rottweiler.
Through the roof, 100%. JD, I like the Tolbert and Pickens selections. I think were really good for your build.
Thanks, man.
No,
I like him.
Orton screwed me right there.
That was the last guy in my queue, Wandell.
Oh, all right.
Wandell.
Yep.
I was taking him just to because we talked about him earlier.
Just wanted to be cool.
I'm glad we had that conversation. You could have really used Danny Dimes.
I was debating Wandell when I took Chark. I wasn't going to take him over Chark, but if I was going to go full stack, that would have been the time to do it. I kind of thought he would come back to me. I knew he wouldn't have gotten past Dave, but
no shot.
No shot.
got some chat about Watson in the chat. How do you guys? I've been throwing him in late in some drafts, like on drafters, just kind of that lottery.
It's a tournament. I mean, at the end of the day, you need to nail a perfect ticket. It does force you to take him as your QB3, so you have a little less coverage.
Yes.
If a guy gets injured, you have a little less. You can't do a 2 QB build with him. It has to be 3 QB.
But see, Theo, like those guys who took, or the guys in the 8 spot who went back to back, and they were both week 9s, and then somebody said like they took Stafford. You would take Watson, to fill. I don't know if the buys work, but you would think that would fill nicely.
Actually, Watson's the week 9 buy too.
Is he? Yeah, there you go. Forget it. Erase everything I said. Marvin Jones for the triple stack in Jacksonville. Let's go.
But oh yeah, all right. I still don't like why there's no reason to take 4 quarterbacks in a row.
No,
of course not. It's insane.
It had to be an accident. It just had to be.
Whoever this Schleps is right before me, man, he's sniping the hell out of me.
Marlon Mack.
Shout out to Schleps making us laugh in the chat and sniping Wheeler.
Getting macked on a Friday night.
I like this guy though too. Jamal. If Swift goes down.
Justin Jackson doesn't scare you at all?
No. No. No, there's nothing about Justin Jackson that even makes me the slightest bit nervous. This coaching staff went out and got Jamal. Like, he got hurt last year. That's why we didn't see more of him. Swift is definitely going to take over the starting role, and it'll be like 70-30. But we will see Jamal, and if Swift gets banged up, Justin Jackson doesn't scare me at all. All right, where the heck am I? 5 running backs
in a row.
Probably
2 tight ends, 4 quarterbacks, and 5 running backs in a row. This guy is all about stacking. Jesus. Love Hassan Haskins, though.
Yeah, Hassan Haskins is a good pick there.
Yeah, you were on him a lot.
I've been on Hassan Haskins a while. His grandmother responded to one of my tweets as well. It was awesome. It was really cool to see. My favorite grandmother in the NFL by far. Shout out to Miss Haskins. All right, so Turp, this is easy for me. I think number 1 stands out a lot, and it fills our structural need.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take him. So we take Brevin Jordan there, which is like one of the last tight ends that I'm kind of into. I think that he's got a clear path. I know, like, I talked to Abib and Deo of First and 15 quite a lot. And they're Houston guys, and there are some chatter about Pharaoh Brown, but I think Brevin Jordan's just the guy. I'm a sucker for a Miami tight end, and like Jordan, you've been reading camp reports that they're going to line him up at fullback. They're going to do a lot of 2 tight end sets, and it's just besides Brandon Cooks and our man Nico Collins, I think there's an opportunity for a third pass catcher there.
Nope. No, shout out to you did grab for.
Shout out to my man Trevor. I'm sure he's drafting tonight somewhere if he hasn't drafted already. But nope, it's just a 4 QB crazy build.
It's called burning money.
So Terp, I think our hands are tied here.
I think we got to do it. I don't think we really have a choice.
Yeah, I would have liked to have. Let's see where this guy goes. But
I would have liked 2, but.
Yeah, I would have liked 2, but yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so we're going to take Davis Mills here. So we get a little Davis Mills, Nico Collins, Brevin Jordan.
Nice.
We really get crushed at QB2. We would have liked Daniel Jones. Wheeler takes him. We would have liked to have a little Jared Goff there for a little Goff Swift. But at the end of the day, Davis Mills is in that tier. I think they're going to pass a lot. and we have a nice little stack with Collins and Jordan. So not the worst thing, but again, I'm not super comfortable with Mills as my QB2, but at least we have the correlation to go with it. So we're really going to need to lean on Fields in this build.
As soon as you went Brevin Jordan and I saw the Nico earlier, I was like, I had no doubt you were going to go Mills, and that was the right move to go.
There was a possibility we were going to push him if.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
in
in this draft, if the team didn't take 4 QBs, then we would have ended up with Daniel Jones, or we would have ended up with Daniel Jones, and that's just it would have been a completely different build.
Yeah, for sure. I just like as soon as you took Brevin Jordan, which is a good pick. Like I like the Brevin Jordan pick. I just figured Mills went right along with the Nico Collins too, and I like that stack. That late stack is beautiful. Usually in drafters or underdog, you can get a stack like that in like literally the last 3 rounds.
Those are my favorite stacks. The late ones, you get them cheap.
Yep. Yeah, I'm extremely frugal. If you guys didn't know, if you guys couldn't tell from my dynasty trade offers, Randy will gladly call me cheap as fuck, but I call it frugal, and I definitely love those late stacks. And speaking of stacking, complete mine. Give us some Hamler.
So my spoiler alert came true. Wheeler did get Alberto and KJ Hamler.
Yeah,
nice.
I'm very predictable too.
We saw that like 8 rounds ago.
Yeah, I telegraphed it too. So.
Big time.
I'm not shy about it. But this is where it gets fun. You start throwing your dart throws out there.
Yeah, I'm going to put in my 5th running back and keep the Cincinnati stack going. I really like Chris Evans, the little bit that we've seen. If he gets an opportunity, he could be a beast.
Wheeler, I do think that these rounds get kind of like the fact that this is 2020 and not 18. I think like the 19th and 20th round, some people are going to throw away picks. Like I think Justin Herzig has talked about the importance of getting points out of your last 2 rounds. We've heard Todd talk about that a lot. So like the really, really sharp best ball minds are going to do. It's just having slightly better win rates out of your last few round picks can make a big deal. I think with these extra 2 rounds, where if you just get like two usable weeks, 3 usable weeks out of a 20th rounder, it's going to make a huge difference.
And how it complements your roster that you've built to this point.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I just like I like looking at some of these guys, and I look at some of them and I'm like, ooh. Like I know I can get 4 or 5 weeks out of some of these guys if everything hits right. Like, and if you construct your roster right, you're looking at the right positions right about now, so
Katie,
that you can do that.
Can you scroll up a little more?
Yeah, the comments.
Yeah, that's perfect.
In fact, like,
shout out to Jake in the chat complimenting Mills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like, I like Mills as well. I think that I think his rookie season kind of went underrated. The Texans were supposed to be this punchline, but they certainly had some extremely competitive weeks with him, and he definitely flashed. So the fact that they didn't take a quarterback this year, and they didn't bring in anyone, and we keep hearing all these rumors about this guy and this guy getting connected to Houston, but right now Davis Mills is the QB. They gave him the red visor in camp. I mean, you don't give the red visor to a guy who's not a baller.
He's a great value where we got him, especially with the stack. I mean, we're obviously QB struggling right now, but I like the Texans stack this year. It's like you said, it's kind of condensed. I mean, with Cooks, Collins, obviously the sad news with Michi, but
yeah, I mean, the key to me is Collins. Like if he takes that next step, I think he could be Like
I agree.
he's a dark horse to be like a wide receiver 3 this year, just because I think he's got
100%.
the touchdown upside. He was like one of those huge recruits that Michigan got with Chris Evans, JD, that all like kind of underwhelmed because they had, some weird seasons.
Bad
But
quarterback
he was
play.
100% bad quarterback play too. But like none of them reached like their potential, and but they were all like huge, massive recruits. And Collins is just a beast. So yeah, I'm betting on him. I've drafted a ton of Nico Collins.
Sorry,
Nice pick,
so
JD.
you were talking to me, and I was just trying to figure out my ADPs and kind of the guys I have left in my queue and that kind of thing. So I apologize.
We had Paris Campbell in there. That
Yeah,
was a good pick.
I like pairing him with Pittman, especially. I mean, I don't have Ryan's. I got sniped with him, but I like getting again pairing up receivers in the same offenses like later with some of your studs. I kind of like doing that when they're cheap.
Yeah, stacking the late round receivers is good. I didn't notice something. Daniel Jones has the same bye week as Russell Wilson.
Oh shit!
We'll take them off your hands. You
Wheeler.
don't want them.
But
Guess who just missed on Watson?
guess who gets the stack with their
Oh,
wide receiver 1?
Drop the mic. Drop the mic. Away. I like it.
That's the first time anyone's ever mic dropped a Baker Mayfield.
It must be. It's got to be. Got to be.
When you have,
I
when you
love
have
me
DJ
some
Moore,
Baker.
though. We had Baker queued up too, so we're
There's one other that actually would have been a stack as well that I think is worth drafting. Or yeah.
oh. So Terp, I think that I'm going to push him to the top of the queue, and I think we should think about it.
6.
Well, I just moved him to 1, just because it's ugly, but you might, if you want to do it, that's probably the 1. If you just consider we'll talk about when we're OTC.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean,
Then we don't have to do it. He probably comes back around anyway, but
I don't think it's something we want to risk, though. At this
Yeah.
point,
we can just talk about it after.
yeah,
And by the way, Jake, who's in the chat,
he's right next to
is
us.
the 26er. He's right next to us. So
I've drafted a
Glad
bunch
we-
with him so far.
he's a good FFPC player for sure.
Sure is.
All right.
Yeah,
so
I appreciate the 26ers letting us know like when the
So
26ers are in the draft.
we're OTC here. Terp, if we want a 3 QB build, to me, it's Mariota.
It's definitely Mariota, but can we wait till Mariota to the next pick? The guy next to us has 3 quarterbacks.
Okay, so then let's do it. Well, let's pivot. I don't mind taking one of the running backs we have, and I don't mind Alec Pierce.
Where do you stand on 6?
I think it's fine. I think it's fine. If you want to do 6, I think it's a little more dice roll than taking. I'm okay with 6, or I say we take 5.
I'm good with 5, just in case.
Yeah, just in case.
Okay. And then definitely
so
1 coming back.
Yeah, 100%.
I like that pick. I just went to queue him up.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. There's more exciting picks we could have made, but I think that Foreman looked good last year. They bring him in.
He's the clear
and
backup.
100%, and also with the expanded season, like I don't see McCaffrey playing every single game.
Right.
Like, if you might get 3 starts out of Foreman, and he showed he's very capable. He's a Dan Williamson favorite too. Dan Williamson is always a sucker for Foreman.
Yeah, I like Foreman. I would say till recently.
Chuck, this is an easy pick for us.
He's
Oh,
a
sorry.
pick.
You
You're
guys
good.
are still on. But I've heard whispers and it makes kind of sense with Hubbard. I mean, he did look good last year. He catches the ball. You could see these guys splitting. Just the same reason they don't want to run, CMC through the ground. There's no reason to, maybe lean that much more on Foreman. So I think they would each have their role.
I think it would probably be Foreman getting the touches that you want, though. I think Foreman would get the goal line role,
Yeah.
If it was those
Agreed.
two guys,
Agreed.
like, so I don't know. Foreman looked good last year. So,
And let's face it, it's
and Hubbard was mixed. I
17th
feel like,
round.
yeah, no, 100%.
And it's a running back position behind a guy who's been out for a couple seasons. So it's not a bad pick. I'm just kind of wanted to discuss that a bit with I think people assume that Foreman is just going to, because he looked good last year, but he also looked good in an offense that was built around Derrick Henry. You know what I mean?
And Terp, we have a 5 RB build, which obviously we could take one with the next 2 rounds, but like I feel like if we shut it down at running back right now, it's not the end of the world because of what we did early.
I'm good shutting it down. 5 different bye weeks. Not that that really matters, but yeah. There might be like one guy later on, but
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think if one of the guys in our queue is there, like we could do a 6 RB build, but that's like what the Dillon pick does for us is if we didn't take Dillon, we would have ended up having to take more running backs. So
I agree. The Dillon pick definitely makes the structure look so much better than what it could have been.
Wheeler, are you OTC right now? I can't see the. No, you're in the hole. You're in the hole.
Thanks for the heads up, though. Trying to look at a bunch of different screens. I had Terrence Marshall and Will Fuller next to my queue. So
I have so much Marshall.
I don't have a whole lot of them, but I'll throw them in at the end if I got a Baker at the end or.
Well,
when I think of Theo, I'll throw Terrace Marshall in.
Okay, but you also have the buddy narrative with Baker Mayfield and Hollywood Higgins. Hollywood Higgins is his guy,
Really?
and now Hollywood Higgins is in Carolina. Like Higgins re-signed with Cleveland, like I think it was 2 seasons ago, because him and Baker had like a chemistry, and he liked being there. And then he goes to Carolina, and then Baker happens to get traded there, and now they get reunited. So I don't know. Like I'm hopeful for Terrace Marshall. Like everybody would love to see him, like that believed in him last year. But
And
Robbie
got burned
Anderson,
bad.
yeah, big time. And Robbie Anderson and Rashad Higgins there, it's not as clear. So I don't know. Guys do bust. Guys that we really, really like do bust. It happens every single year in the NFL. So. Like we're looking for the light at the end of the tunnel with Terrace Marshall. I flipped some of him in Dynasty this year for like 3rd rounders. It was hard to do, but I think it would be hard for me to get a 3rd rounder for him tomorrow.
True.
My whole queue just got cleaned out, so I'm going to go with this.
Sorry about that.
I'm going to go with a new Twitter darling, Mr. Isaiah Pacheco. I was going to go with a 5 RB, but we'll throw him as my 6th RB, a little lottery ticket in the
I'm
case.
curious to see what they do in Kansas City. I mean, if he
was
makes the
in my
team,
queue.
one of those guys probably got to get cut. I don't think
You're right about
running
that.
backs.
Well, it comes down to do they think Pacheco can? To me, it might be McKinnon who doesn't make the team.
Yeah,
I still say Ronald Jones, but
Ronald Jones makes the most sense.
doesn't play special teams, doesn't catch the ball.
But then if you're gonna cut Ronald Jones though, it means that they either think that CEH is now able to handle goal line carries, which they've never given him in his career.
They're never given him.
Or the rookie Pacheco is the goal line back in Kansas City, and JD just won this Bestball, and Isaiah Pacheco shares all like cash out. So like it's just weird to me because I feel like McKinnon can't be the goal line back. They signed McKinnon like late in this offseason, so they bring him back. But again, they brought him back after a while. So I don't know. I feel like he might be the odd man out. I just can't see them cutting Ronald Jones. Like they got him in free agency. Jones profiles to be a goal line guy. I don't know. It's definitely exciting and it's worth taking shots.
It's definitely something to watch because this guy's getting a lot of positive press.
Big time. And they used him in the slot this week. Like they're having him run with the first team offense at running back, and then they're using him in the slot. Like he's a 4-3-7 guy. It's Andy Reid who knows how to get people in space. And Pacheco's super, super interesting.
I like the guy. I hope they don't cut him.
Guys, do you know who's going to be balling on the other side of the goal line when Pacheco is balling out in that week 17? Greg Dulcich, because it's going to be the one game that Alberto sits out, and I'm going to win the tournament. Boom, tight end 3.
Andrew Schellenberg and I took Greg Dulcich in a main event this week, a slow main that we're reviewing Tuesday night. And yeah, JD, that's good where you got him. That's very good value. And I think like it's probably Alberto that leads Denver tight ends in points this year, but you have to give 25%, 33% chance to Dulcich that it just is happening.
Yeah, I like Dulcich too. I think you're going to see both of them on the field at once quite often since Tim Patrick went down.
And is there a scenario where Dulcich sees some wide receiver snaps?
It's possible.
Because he was a wide receiver before.
Really?
Yeah, they converted him at UCLA, but like he's not a blocker. He's a move tight end in every sense of the word. And maybe they are able to use him on some wide receiver snaps. It's a big learning curve.
Makes total
rookies
sense.
To be, yeah. Right. So I mean, we're betting on
easier,
Hamler, but
it's easier for them to learn to run routes than it is to block. So that's always the biggest hurdle of rookie tight ends or young tight ends getting on the field is they don't know how to block their position yet. So if they're going to just split them out wide as a receiver, well, then that makes a lot more sense. Oh shit, I'm up. My darling from last year at tight end, Troutman.
That's a good pick too.
I like that Pacheco pick though. I figured my Zay Jones picks might have threw you off a little bit there.
Yeah, it did a bit, but I did have Pacheco in my like smash emergency glass here pick. That was if all my Q was gone and he was, yeah, you guys cleared it out. So
yeah, definitely Pacheco was in my queue. I thought he'd come back.
Terp, I put a guy in the queue that's gross. But
very
I think
gross.
If you start thinking about it a little bit, it's a 20th round.
Look at it in the right light. It's like 3:43 a.m. and you're just coming out, of like the subway because you went to the club and then you stopped off.
It's like so gross that if we
real gross
like,
under the street light, she looks good.
Yeah.
The darker it is, the better we look.
I don't think we're gonna make that pick, and I think it's so gross that I don't even want to say it on air.
I hope not. We'll say the name. I don't know if I can click that button.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna do it. Strictly a correlation play, a 20th rounder. I think that
I don't think there's any way he gets cut, which is a good thing.
I think we take 1 and 3. To be honest with you, let's wait until Jake goes, and then we kind of talk it out.
1 and 3 too.
I just think it's the bet. If we're betting on this, we're betting on this.
That is correct.
I'm just looking to see if there's a
Tyler Batty is one I've heard talked about there too.
Yeah, Tyler Batty.
I had him in my queue if I didn't take.
But to me, it's Batty. I believe. I haven't looked at any film or anything, but I from what I understand, Batty's a great pass catcher. And in Baltimore, the last thing running backs do is catch passes, so it doesn't quite add up to me.
Do not sleep on Mike Davis. I think that it's not.
I'm
what
sleeping
we would
on.
do.
Yeah, I'm taking a big old snooze button on that one.
Thanks.
Same.
I'm telling you guys, Lamar wants a veteran next to him. All right, so right here, Terp, we're looking to be a little unique here.
Right.
I think like going with Velus Jones here.
Stack
it a little bit with Fields. Unless you see something else you want to do, I think that's the move.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, let's take Velus. I'm just saying that the Mike Davis it's extremely boring.
Very boring.
But I don't think it's out of the realm. I threw 5 in there, Turk. We can just talk about since we're here. Byron Pringle, if we want to push the stack. James Prochet as an interesting dart throw in Baltimore, who we kind of like. And then Josh Reynolds in Detroit to get a little correlation with Swift. Breida, if you think you get 2 starts out of him, if Barkley misses 2 games, makes somewhat sense because you're cuffing in the 20th round.
Hey Theo, game etiquette. Stop naming names.
Just rattle them off.
It's our last pick. So we're
it's your pick. It's not mine.
So Terp, your choice, dealer's choice. I lean Pringle or Breida. But you can go Crochet or
let's go. Let's go. Breida.
Your call.
Breida. You got it.
JD's gonna take Ashlyn Doolin.
He's in my queue.
Painful.
He's
The guy that we were talking about was Rex Burkhead.
I got three guys lined up. 3 guys lined up. You guys, they better be there when it get at least one of them.
Cuffing in the 20th round, I think is fine. Terp, as long as he's the handcuff, I think it's fine. Because if Saquon sits 2 games and Breida gets you 14 and 14 or some it's fine. If we reach to do it, it would be incorrect, but I think that's what the 20th 20 rounds gives you the flexibility to do. You wouldn't have done that in an 18.
Yeah, I have
a theory on cuffing. If you use the round you took the running backs in, if you add the rounds together and they're over 20, you're fine with the cuff. So if you draft a guy in the 10th and 11th, or 2 guys in the 10th and 11th and they're handcuffs, you're fine because it's over 20. If you draft a guy in the 1st round and the 20th round, you're fine because it's over 20.
We have the 10-round rule on the GOAT District. JD and
but if you grab a guy in the 1st round, you're not going to grab his handcuff in the 11th, are you?
Yeah, I have the no handcuff rule in pretty much across the board. So Theo's.
I usually do too.
Yeah, I mean, I usually do not handcuff. I think that there's the one situation where I think it's pretty clear, and I think it might be worth doing so, is if you commit to Dalvin Cook, if you can get Alexander Madison in the 12th round, it's such a clear situation where it's a guy who usually misses a few games and such a clear handcuff that has produced as an RB1. I still think in best ball
you're capping your ceiling. If you're talking about setting your lineups, I don't mind it at all. Or in Dynasty, as much as I don't like handcuffs, I don't mind it. Okay, let me make my last pick here. I've got all these Cincy guys. Khalil Shakir is going to ball out week 17 against Cincinnati. Booyah with the last pick.
You know something I don't know about Kennedy Brooks?
About who?
The guy you drafted, Kennedy Brooks.
Kennedy Brooks. I heard about him early in the offseason, and I kind of just gut shot that one. It's regrettable because I actually wanted to go Duke Johnson, but Duke Johnson's been my last round guy. Kennedy Brooks is just a name I've heard, and I have no idea what's going on in that Eagles backfield, so I took a shot. Nothing more than a name I've heard.
Just getting back to JD's thing with cuffing in best ball, it's interesting, but Mike Leone did a big article about this. Former GOAT District guest Mike Leone, he did a really good article on handcuffing in best ball, and Jack Miller has also done some interesting stuff with that on ETR, where they show like the win rates and the hit rates. It was from an underdog perspective, but it still kind of flies. Shout out to Billy Muzio.
Shout out Billy.
What's up, Muzio?
I pumped you up earlier.
We have to get Terp's answer on this, JD, because we got Wheeler's was DJ Moore as his wide receiver who could finish wide receiver 1 overall outside of the big 3. So Terp, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp all go in the top 3 of every single format. If there's another wide receiver that finishes as wide receiver 1 overall, who is it? And you can give 2 guys if you feel more comfortable doing that.
The answer would be Cortland Sutton, but I'm going to give somebody different.
That's a great answer.
Kadarius Toney's my answer.
That's a big one. It's a hot
I love
take.
it, Terp.
Number 1 overall
after tonight.
It's a hot take right there.
That's a hot take. That's
all aboard the Tony train.
I love it. I love Tony. I'm a sucker for Tony right now. I think he's
so much upside. You saw it last year.
Yep, he's a baller for sure. And they're going to also line him up apparently in the backfield. They're going to also apparently they've run him at Wildcat, and he's a former quarterback. There's a clip that's on Twitter of him just messing around before practice, throwing 60-yard bombs downfield. So Tony,
I saw that. There's a lot of hype
he's a football player. He's a football player.
I almost took Doolin, by the way, as my last pick with my my Colts stack, but I needed someone across from Cincy, and Twitter is making these guys look really good right now. You know what I mean?
They sure are.
Ashton Doolin and Alec Pierce is the battle for our times. It's the battle for the ages.
Yep.
So, guys, anything surprise you in this draft before we maybe go through your team quickly and what you liked and like, or anything you want to say about it?
Teammate
Teammate,
is
that's
the
really
shock,
it.
and it made this a unique draft because
True.
somebody took 4 straight QBs, and you could draft 20 of these this week, and you're not going to see that at all.
And I think he has. No,
And
he-
I'll say
3.
also, I thought team 4 with the 5 tight end build is unique, even though they went late. You don't usually see a 5 tight end build.
Yeah,
Um,
don't hate it.
and I mean, I don't really like it. I think that you're betting on a lot of low upside guys, but I can see why he did it. He didn't use any draft capital. He used round 16 and on tight end.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, he went in besides Fant. He got those 4 guys, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it.
I just don't like
but-
the guys he took. It's
I don't like
Yeah.
the guys he took either outside of
Logan
Fant.
Thomas, Kyle Rudolph, John Smith. I'm probably not taking any of those guys. I wanted Mo
I
Alley,
don't-
so he sniped me there.
I don't mind Jonnu in the last round.
Yeah.
I would never have drafted Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah.
No shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, maybe JD, you want to go first and talk about your build?
Yeah, so McCaffrey fell to me at 3, which I felt pretty, whether Taylor or McCaffrey falls to me there in 3, I'm happy. And then, you guys know I love me some Justin Jefferson. So either way, I'm happy in the 3 spot. So I got CMC. T. Higgins, my most owned player on the FFPC, I got him on the 10 on the way back. Pittman as my wide receiver 2, McLaurin, and then I grabbed Gibson 2 rounds later. I like Antonio Gibson in the 6th round. The value, especially around some of the guys he's going. Took Montgomery in the 5th. Not a huge Montgomery guy, but he's kind of a solid pillar there. He kind of fills my RB2, but also have upside later on. And that's why I kind of went, initially I was going thinner at RB, ended up with 6. Burrow, Higgins, I just can never pass up that stack. I love that stack. I just think that offense, people are like, oh, they're not going to throw as much, or it's like, why you got to the Super Bowl? Why would you change anything? Burrow's just going to get better. T. Higgins just going to get better. Chase is going to get better. They're going to get better. I don't see how this offense, takes a step back in any way.
They're actually going to throw more. If you remember the first 6 weeks of the season, they held Burrow back. He was coming off the injury, and they wanted to run the ball. They wanted to slow everything down. And they didn't really pick it up. They're actually going to pass more this year.
And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you
run more plays and be high flying?
Yeah.
And their schedule is a lot tougher. And they got a new offensive line. Yeah, I really like that Higgins Burrow stack you got there.
So Stevenson, we all like Stevenson in the 8th round. I love him, especially in my skinny RB builds, to get him as my RB3 or 4. Kmet, we all love Kmet. And then Dan will be happy. I got Ingram later, who I stacked with Trevor Lawrence, one of those cheap Jacksonville stacks. I added Marvin Jones a bit later. Who else do I have? Tyler Boyd's I added to my Cincy stack with Burrow and Higgins, George Pickens, and Tolbert, 2 opportunity rookies showing good on Twitter right now. And some good Twitter promise upside. Chris Evans I like Chris Evans with the limited action that we saw from him last year. But again, in that offense, Mixon, it wouldn't. I don't think anyone would be shocked if he had any injury issues or missed some games this year. So I think Evans is good, especially in the 16th round. Paris Campbell and then Shakir Flyer receivers. Kind of going with my earlier stacks. Pacheco with the shocker pick in the 18th round. And then Dulcich as my tight end 3.
Wheeler.
JD, I have to say, I love your first 18 rounds.
No, I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, 5th round David Montgomery, I've been wholeheartedly always against. The more I do my rankings, the more I realize I'm probably wrong about David Montgomery. Like, I need to move him up. I need to be not so down on him anyway. Like, I have barely any David Montgomery, but I need to get more of him. I think I'm wrong about him. As far as my team, I went too balanced. Like, that Zeke pick, I regretted it kind of immediately. I tried to justify it, but no, I would have been much better off with Sutton. And I mean, I like getting Kelsey in the first, Aaron Jones in the second. I'm cool with DJ Moore as my guy. Love getting him in the third. I think if I went Sutton in the fourth, I like the Juju is fine. I probably
you would have
stuck
also
with
had
that.
you would have also had the KC Denver week 17 with Juju, Sutton, and then Albert O later on, Russ
And Hamlin.
right? And
Oh, wow.
Taylor, that would have been a nice stack right there for that week 17. I mean, too bad I'm going to beat you in this league, but I'm just saying, man.
Yeah, you probably are, but I've been getting Dobbins in the sixth constantly, and that's probably, it could end up hurting me, but if he ends up being healthy for 14 of the 17 games, I think you're looking at a high-end RB2.
Agreed.
London I like, but I think if I went Sutton earlier, I might have ended up getting Hunt in the seventh. I like the Wilson. I like the Gage. Alberto, I said I grabbed a little bit early. I probably should have let him come back to me. I would have rather had Rashad White there. And that would have freed me up when I got to the Alexander Madison pick. I probably would have gone. I might have gone Landry there. I might have. Who knows what I would have done if I might have pivoted another direction altogether. But yeah, I kind of got a little unhinged a little early. But one thing I tend to do when I do get unhinged is just try to keep it balanced so that I can pivot in any direction. But what I don't like is that I didn't pivot in any direction. I kind of just kept going, balance here, balance there, even out, and I didn't make any one position super strong.
And that's the risk with the balance build, right? That's
Right.
Kinda...
Like this team, and I'll be in fifth place, which will get me nowhere.
Herb, Theo, you guys have anything to add on Wheeler's team, or before you guys go through your own roster?
No, I mean,
Not really.
no, not really. I think it was the Zeke pick.
The Zeke pick kind of screwed everything up.
Threw us off,
I think if you go with Cortland Sutton instead of Zeke, and that's a guy you have a ton of, but this particular draft you were worried about the positional cutoff. I think you could have made up for it a little bit more, and you would have liked your team a little bit better. That was just my only thought.
Yeah.
Terp, why don't you do the first half? I'll do the back half.
I mean, the first half, I really don't think it could have went much better. I mean, Barkley and Swift, we both love a lot. Mike Williams is a high upside play, definitely the wide receiver one, probably in both of our opinions. And in LA, Kittle, we don't have much of him, but he's definitely a good ad right here. It was pretty much Kittle or Sutton. I feel like Sutton's been debatable. A.J. Dillon was the one questionable pick, but it made all sense because if we didn't take A.J. Dillon there, the draft could have got a little haywire, getting those four receivers right after and then starting to stack with Fields. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that I like drafting from the back half, but I will say that the end of the fifth round, whether it's football guys, whether it's a main event, whether it's this format, the end of the fifth round and the early sixth round in FFPC is a little tricky. I think you can either reach for guys once in a while, somebody falls to you, but it's just like it's hard to prepare. You kind of go on the fly. So I think taking Dillon there, having a little exposure to him, it kind of opened things up for us. And I think also taking the Kittle pick, it also opened things up for us where we wouldn't have had to,
reach
go and take and we wouldn't have had to reach. Yeah, exactly. And it let us wait for Higbee and Brevin Jordan. So yeah, Jahan Dotson was a pretty easy pick for us. I think we both like the upside, and I think he's got spike week capability. Darrell Henderson was also an easy pick for us. We almost took Darrell Henderson where we took Jahan Dotson. We talked about it earlier. McVay's talking about how he views having two RB1s. Darrell Henderson is a reliable guy, and I think he's got some talent. It also gives us a little correlation with Mike Williams in the LA game in Week 17. Nico Collins, we talked about at length. We both really like. I think Nico Collins, yeah, big time. And I think Nico is, like we alluded to, I think he could be a wide receiver 3 this year, and you're getting him as a wide receiver 5 price. And then Higbee was a structural pick. It's not an exciting pick. We could have gone in different directions there. I'm not sure if we could have done it over again. We would have, because Njoku goes right there, so we would have kind of been left held in the bag at tight end, maybe had to go 4 tight end build. So Higbee structurally made sense. Again, it gives us a little more correlation with that LA game. Brevin Jordan gives us correlation with Nico Collins. It's a tight end with a little bit of upside. We get him at tight end 25. I think he beats that ADP. And then we followed up the Collins and Jordan picks with Davis Mills. We would have preferred to get Daniel Jones earlier and have a more reliable QB2, but Davis Mills with the correlation, I think he's a little underrated. We get him at QB 26. Again, I think he'll beat that ADP. But we need him to be like QB 18 or 19 if this team is really gonna be dangerous. Then we take Deonta Foreman. That was a difficult pick for us. I think we could have gone wide receiver, but Foreman kind of made sense. We also could have gone quarterback there, but we waited. We take Foreman with the plan of just shutting it down at running back, and we followed up with Marcus Mariota, where we don't necessarily love having to take a third QB, but having Mariota there with Mills makes sense. Maybe you get one usable start out of Mariota. One negative is he has a week 14 bye with Justin Fields, but again we have Mills, so that shouldn't be an issue. And then we went with Velus Jones in the 19th round to kind of lean into that Chicago correlation where we have Fields and Mooney already. Now we have Velus Jones. He was a day 2 draft pick. He's got speed. He could be a deep threat. And then the 20th round, we go with Matt Breida. We did not mind handcuffing Saquon. We were apprehensive to do so, but it kind of made the most sense. Even if Saquon just misses 2 games, you might feel happy about having his handcuff, especially in the 20th round. So I like our team a lot. I think we drafted well. I think it comes down to
Quarterbacks,
and I think we need Kittle to be Kittle. Like, I think we're going to need some spike weeks out of Kittle, but I feel good about it. We made up for it at wide receiver, despite getting all those running backs early. I think we have enough explosive wide receivers, and our team will be a little fun.
Love those 4 guys in a row.
Guys,
100%.
Smash the like, smash the subscribe. Let us know what teams you like. We all know about Team 8, so don't go nuts with Team 8. But look around, look at the other rosters, see what picks you like, didn't like, what rosters you like, and let us know in the comments. Guys, this was a ton of fun, man. Check out the FFPC, guys. My FFPC, 125 buy-in, $200,000 to first place. These are a ton of fun. They're slims, 20 rounds. You saw it here. We did it, in $140. And just a good time, guys. Wheeler, remind the peeps where they'll be able to find your rankings, one of the top rankings on the rankers on the planet at FF_Wheeler. Where can they find it, brother?
I'm at the 33rd team.com now. But I had to think about it because the 33 the 33rd is 33RD. So the 33RD team.com. My rankings will be there, and along with Fantasy Pros again.
Yeah, follow Wheeler on Twitter as well. Terp at Dave Terp. Ton of fun, man. And you're on the FFPC a lot.
Always.
Remind the peeps where else they can find you.
Dave Terp on Twitter. Find me on the FFPC message boards, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. If you ever have a question, be happy to get back with you with any questions you have. And definitely get over to myffpc.com. Main events going on right now. Bestball, Superflex is about to fill. Football guys. I mean, there's so many different price points. No matter what your tolerance is, it's the best contest out there.
Theo, Listener League, for those who sent in their apps, we haven't forgotten about you. We're going to set that up very soon. We've just been a couple of us were away for a bit. Who else do we have coming up? I know we got some hot guests lined up.
So we have Andrew Cooper at Coop A Fiasco on Twitter. Andrew does a tight end article every summer that we highly recommend you go take a look at. We're going to deep dive tight ends. We're going to talk about maybe 30 tight ends. So if you're into the tight end position, this is going to be the show for you. It should be a really good show Monday night, especially for our FFPC listeners. And then Tuesday night, Andrew Schellenberg and I are going to do a main event review show. We drafted a main event. I have a second main event board that we might review. Abib Agbatoba is going to be joining us. And there's a chance there might be one more guest on for that show, but it's going to be great. And then we have a bunch of awesome high stakes guests all line up for the rest of the summer, including Fantasy Mojo, Darren Armani. He's going to be back on. We have the GOAT, Chad Schrader, probably the most successful fantasy football player ever, coming back on the GOAT District. And we're doing what should be a lot of fun. We're going to do a auction show with two of the best auction players on earth, Chris Eibel, who's an NFFC Hall of Famer, and Jack Hahn, who's well known in all high stakes formats. Both
Awesome
those guys
guy.
are fantastic auction players, and our very own overhyped sleeper is also a fantastic auction player. So that show's going to be a lot of fun, and I don't think any podcasts are really doing that. And then we have Dwayne McFarlane. We have a few other returning guests coming back on. We're just crushing it, JD. This summer has just been awesome guests, and we're going to keep it going.
It's the GOAT District, man. We live by the name, and this is where the best come to hang. We want to bring you guys the best, make you the best in your leagues, so that you're crushing, making money, making your wife happy, that you're playing fantasy and making her money at the same time. I mean, it's like drafting Bestball on a Friday night, right, guys? Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the show. We appreciate you guys in the comments. You guys were awesome tonight. Make sure you tune in live. Drop your questions. We're always here to answer. Check us all out on Twitter, and we'll check you all later.
Go District. Bleed, I ball. Bleed, I ball. Bleed, I ball. Bleed, ball. And I bleed, I ball. Bleed, I ball. It's the Go District, y'all. I ball, cause I bleed. Hey, bleeding, I ball. Defeated the odds, didn't see him at all. JD in the pods, I needed it all. I bleeded a lie. You bleeded a lie, not bleeded a lie. And that's what I go do. Facts, let me show you. Happen to know dudes. Drafting, they don't do bad and they don't lose. Make you wanna bleed. It's the Go District, boys giving you the business and no gimmicks. The best ball drafts got me feeling like it's Christmas. Then it's Christmas all of a sudden, and these riches came from nothing. And I got this all from loving the district. See, I just drafted, forget it. I laughed at the critics, they mad at the digits. I clap back by listening. See, BALLiN ain't a problem if you kick it with them off. And I refresh the feed till autumn, then I bleed, go.
That was a good time tonight, guys.
Absolutely. Always have a good time with you guys.
That was fun, man. Kev said he's committing to every Friday night, 9 o'clock. Told me. Hey, you're
maybe not a 125 every Friday.
next week for one though, right? We're doing one Wednesday night, no?
Wednesday, yeah. I'll do whatever Wednesday. Yeah. I was gonna butt in when you talked about Coupe Fiasco. He's in my Raz Bowl. I don't know if you guys are in that. He's in my league. He's awesome. In my league, and so I need you to get as much information out of him as you can. Nice. Like, who does he like?
His article's up. Like, it's honestly very good. Like, you might not agree with all the tight end takes, but like,
I don't care about tight ends. I want to know all of his players.
We are literally gonna go tight ends for an hour 15. JD and I are gonna go as deep as we can on tight end.
Cool.
No, Dan is away. It's me and JD. We're gonna go.
Like Dan Arnold's gonna take up at least like 18 minutes.
You mean like Tommy Tremble? You mean
Tommy Tremble?
I almost took him last round. I was thinking about it.
I think that the Taysom Hill, Adam Troutman should be like an end of it, but literally we do like the same thing we did with Adam Krautwurst, except like even just nothing else, just all tight ends. So let him go fucking nuts and pump his
he's all into the tight ends. Yeah,
that's his niche, man. These guys, he's got a niche. So
special.
Yeah, like when I'm looking at other people and how they're doing in the rankings, I seem like the tight end is a niche. Like, those that are great at running back and receiver usually suck at quarterback and tight end, and vice versa. Like, sometimes the ones, it's really weird. But I feel like I see his name up there quite often.
Like, tight end's such a weird position. Like, JJ Zachariason will not project like tight end rookies. Like, he doesn't do it because it's so difficult.
There's no
like point. you don't see any of these guys. Like, it's very niche and very interesting. Like Jax Falcone We'll do some tight end stuff. I think like he'll try to project prospects, but it's tough, man. It's real tough.
He had us
Listen,
all
I'm
like
gonna-
with Jalen Woods, and it's not like
Jelani Woods is going to be
Jelani Woods.
bust.
There you
It's
go.
making your man Mo Alley Cox look more interesting, though, for sure this year.